Wow. Bruh. I'm fucking astonished with what I just witnessed. I don't ever do videos like this right after fights, but bro, that performance by fucking Crawford just now was something else, man. And the reason I say that is because of how good Spence is. And I say that to say this. Spence looked really bad. And I think this is a scenario where it's like similar. This used to happen with Mayweather all the time. Be like, they didn't look good. They didn't look good because of Mayweather, bro. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't look good because of Bud, man. He couldn't do nothing. I mean, everything. There was so many things. Like I came very close to getting the prediction on point. I said that Bud would stop him in 11. Bud stopped him in 9. So I was close. But I got to admit, bro, like I was nowhere near seeing that was going to happen. I knew that could happen, but I didn't think it was going to just be like that, bro. Like he just came out. The first round, you could have gave the first round to Spence. They both did a little bit. Crawford landed some good jabs. Spence landed some good body shots, shit like that. So, it was whatever the first round. But the things that really, really surprised me about Bud, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but every time they would clinch or they would, lean up on each other, Bud never, ever, ever went backwards. This is the dude that's in his third weight class. You know what I mean? He went from 135, won a title, won all 4 titles at 140, and then went up to 147, fighting against a dude that's always been at 147, has always been super big and strong for 147, and is going to 154, probably next fight, depending on what goes on with this rematch thing. And Bud was just bullying him, bro. Like, Bud never took a backwards fucking step when they locked up every time, and Bud made sure he just pushed him out of there, and it was just a lot of little things like that. The punch output. I had said the same thing with Pacquiao and Mayweather when I saw Pacquiao's punch output after like the first, whatever it was, 2 rounds. And I was like, the fight's over. Pacquiao lost. It was kind of the same shit tonight, bro, where, Crawford just Mayweathered him. He just took away, and he kept saying this shit too, like, you're a big fish, but we take you out of water and fry you. And it's the same philosophy that Mayweather always had of taking away the opponent's best aspect and, drown them. They don't know what to do. As Bud put it, we take you out of the water and you're going to suffocate. And that's exactly what happened. And it was wild to me seeing him break Spence, and he broke Spence rather quickly. Like, Spence chops people down, and the whole time he kept talking in the build-up to this fight about breaking him mentally and breaking Bud and taking his will and taking his spirit and shit, and that's exactly what Bud did to him, bro. But what was wild is Spence is usually an accumulation, and I'm not taking away from what Spence does, because Spence is tremendous, and I love Spence. But Bud just went out there and did it right away, and he made that shit look easy, bro. That's what's wild to me, is you're taking a guy, like, you become a pro boxer, cool. You win some fights, even better. You know what I mean? You win a championship, wow, okay, you could really fight. You win a world title, yo, this dude is serious. You talking about all 4 world titles. Now you're going against a guy that had 3 major world titles and was 39-0 as a pro. 28-0 as a pro, just wrecking everybody. And you made that shit look easy. Like, that's wild, bro. One of the biggest things that everybody kept talking about for Crawford was, the fact that he could fight with both hands. He didn't even fucking leave the lefty stance the whole night, bro. Like, I felt like, and I'm not trying to, again, I love Errol Spence, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but I felt like, I don't feel like there's anything that Errol could do in a rematch, bro. Like, I think Crawford had other levels that he could have gone to. So here's the thing. If Spence comes back and has a rematch, and Spence performs much, much, much better, which is going to be difficult because Spence is already an awesome fucking fighter, bro. So to come out there and just get lit up like that when you're that good is alarming. So let's just say Spence comes out and fights that much better, which, like I said, will be hard to fight that much better than somebody that's already that good. But let's just say he does it. I still think Bud had like another 2 or 3 levels to go to that he didn't need. He never switched stances. You know what I mean? He was never hurt. Bud's high guard was crazy. Like he was utilizing different things, but his high guard was crazy. His power jab was fucking crazy. I mean, we all thought Spence had the better chin out of the two, and Bud was just hurting him with jabs, bro. Like everything about what just happened to me was crazy. Not because I didn't think any of it was possible, but I didn't think it was all gonna happen just so easily like that. Like, yeah, I knew Crawford had a good power jab. I knew Crawford had really good counter punches, and he might make Spence pay for reaching and going to the body. I knew all these things. Like, I knew all this stuff, but I didn't think that all of it was going to be executed this perfectly, this quickly like that, and that easily like that. I mean, again, not to discredit Spence, bro, but there were times where Spence just looked like he didn't even know what to do. And Bud was kind of just like 2 steps ahead, you know what I mean, on a chessboard where it was like, not only is he taking your pieces, but you're actually doing exactly what he wants you to do every single time. So not only is he putting you in the better positions, but you're not even seeing what's happening. You're falling right into every single one of his traps every time. So it was crazy to watch that, man. And it was just so many things. Like, you know, Spence presses the action. We all knew that. But it got to a point, same way with Pacquiao and Mayweather. Like I said, it got to a point where Spence didn't want to press the action. He had his will taken out of him and his fucking soul taken out of him, where he knew, if I press and I start swinging, I'm going to pay. You know what I'm saying? So every time Spence started to get inside, which was like, okay, he's in there, he's going to dig to the body, yada, yada, he just would grab onto Bud, because if he didn't, Bud was going to make him pay. So there was just so many things that were just so fucking crazy to me to just see a dude get systematically and one-sidedly broken down like that, considering he's so good. And don't get me wrong when I say this, Arturo Gatti, I don't think is on the level of an Errol Spence, so I'm not trying to make that comparison. But as far as a title fight, and, you know, people being hyped about a fight, again, I'm not saying that fight was as big as this one, or that Gotti was as good of a boxer or a fighter as Spence, but I'm just trying to say, when you got a pay-per-view fight like that, a championship fight, that people are like, okay, we want to watch this fight, and the bell rings, and it's just fucking dominance like that. Like, that was probably the most one-sided championship fight I've seen since Gotti Mayweather. I think Fury Wilder 2 was probably close. That was a pretty one-sided dominant victory for Fury, but that was also the second fight of a very close first fight in a scenario where it felt like not necessarily maybe that one guy is on another level, but that one guy figured something out. And then again, in the third fight, you saw, even though, you know, same outcome, Fury stopped him, you saw a closer fight in the third fight where Fury got dropped 2 times and shit like that. So this I don't really see, bro. I mean, and not even to be a dick, but if they rematch, we all know that Errol's best chance at winning is to come forward, pressure, work the body, and break Bud down, right? How the fuck is Errol going to come out pressuring when that rematch starts, knowing that every time he extends his hands to try to do something to Bud, that he's going to pay a severe price? It's a mental thing that, like, if you don't fight, you might not understand, but I don't know, bro. Like, I think if Errol is very strong-minded, he could go back to being Errol against other fighters. I do think that that's possible depending on how strong-minded Errol is, which I think he's a strong-minded dude, so I don't want to say that Errol's dumb by any means. But you could get away with some mistakes when you're crushing people that bad, because it's like, all right, well, maybe I'm making little mistakes, but nobody's good enough to make me pay for them because what I do is so good that they can't get over it. Well, somebody got over it and made you pay, bro. And, you know, maybe you have a strong enough mind frame to understand, well, that was just him and I could still impose my will on the majority of other people, and you still have a very, you know, strong career going forward and you win more titles. But a rematch against Bud, I don't know, man. I don't know how you come out and be assertive against a guy that's making you pay like that every time you do it. So your best chance at winning is your best chance at getting knocked out. It's a really, really fucked up thing to have in your mind going into a fight. So I'm curious to see what goes on. I know Errol said he wants the rematch, and I think he'll take it. Errol showed a lot of heart. He's a tough dude, and I don't think Errol doesn't belong in the ring with him. I just think that he can't fuck with him. It's plain and simple. And I think what Bud did tonight was fucking special, bro. I'm mind blown by what I saw tonight. Like I really am. I thought that was one of the most impressive performances I've probably seen, in my generation. So damn, man, hats off to Bud and hats off to Errol too for, giving us a great fight and the long run that he had and the career he's had so far. And I thought the way that both of them were post fight was awesome and shit like that. So fuck, man, that was a good one, and I'm happy that it was good and it was a clear winner and not some bullshit decision. So got to give both guys their props on this one. Peace.